Hi there guys, and welcome to another week of Jonesy's Question Time. We're already on to week 7. I can't believe I've done 7 of these, including this one. That's crazy. It only seems like the other week that I started it. But yeah, week 7. And once again, you haven't let me down in getting your questions in, guys. Thank you very much. Just a little quick reminder, if you are sending in questions, then it would be easier for me if you could leave them on the actual Question Time videos or at my Twitter. It's kind of harder for me to keep up. I've had some people leaving questions on sort of older videos that aren't related to this. I have, luckily so far, I have managed to kind of pick them all up and catch up on them. But it just makes it easier for me to collect them all together if I know that they're in, the Question Time videos or on my Twitter. It's just a little bit easier like that, guys. So anyway, let's get straight into it. And it's once again the guy with the most amazing name. It's Shaky Earthquakey, and he has asked me who are my favourite YouTubers. I have quite a few, to be honest, Shaky. Something's making a noise over there. I have quite a few. The main one, which I've kind of mentioned before, is Nerdcubed. He's basically the guy that got me into doing, what I'm doing today. Actually doing YouTube. Nerdcubed was basically the first YouTuber, along with Toby Games, when he was doing his LA Noire playthrough. It was basically Nerdcubed and him that actually kind of made me realise that people did this as a thing on YouTube and gaming and actually made a living out of it. Nerdcubed is fantastic. Particularly love the Hell series that he does. But he's done so much over the time that I've watched him. I mean, when I first watched him, he was mainly kind of doing Minecraft stuff. Kind of doing a lot of builds in that. But you look at how far he's progressed since then. He's just a very, very naturally funny guy. And he's so at his best when he's sort of taking a piss out of games and like his actual Nerdcube Plays videos, the edited stuff. I take a lot of inspiration from those kind of videos, so I really love him. Another big love is Hat Films, of course. Again, I've talked about those guys, but they are just amazing. They're so hilarious. I've probably been watching them about a year and a half now. I started watching them when they first kind of came into a few of the Yogscast videos. Before they joined the Yogscast, they were included in the Race for the Wool videos, and then I started checking out their own stuff, what they actually did, and it was like a lot of trials videos and a lot of cinematic short things and sketches, and just really got into those really quickly. But this past sort of 6 to 8 months, they've really just stepped it up. I mean, I really liked them before, but this, like I say, this past half a year, they've just really come into their own. And for me, they're a very close second to Nerdcubed as being like my favourite YouTubers. So I absolutely love those guys. I kind of like the Yogscast as a whole, but I kind of tend to pick out individuals. So really a big fan of In the Littlewood. I've been a fan of him for about 2 years now, I'd say. Again, it's when he came into a video that Nerdcubed was doing, I actually started watching his stuff, but really like his stuff. It's a bit more laid back, something you can kind of put on just in the background, something to ease you down at the end of a long day. Love Sips. I mean, you've got to love Sips, the most laid back guy on YouTube. So funny, very dry sense of humour, kind of silly sense of humour as well, which I always love. He does really great stuff. On the other side of things, sort of away from gaming a little bit, people that do more kind of talking to camera, Boogie to 988, he's a guy that, again, I've watched for about a year and a half now, I would say, and just really enjoy the stuff that he does talk about. I mean, it is mainly a lot talking about gaming, but he talks about, real life stuff, and, talks about issues that are going on in the news, and, just either puts a good spin on things or talks about the negative stuff, and I just really always enjoy the stuff he does. And similarly, Dodger, really like the stuff she does. I mean, she actually does the stuff for Daily Bite on Polaris, but she does her own stuff on her channel. I don't really watch so much of her gaming stuff because it's very kind of manga, anime kind of stuff, which I'm not really into that. But whenever she's sort of talking about gaming news and real life stuff and fun stuff like that, she's always fun, and she's always good on the Co-optional podcast as well with Total Biscuit and Jesse Cox and the like. But as I just mentioned there again, the Polaris channel, the Daily Bite, that's kind of where I get my daily gaming news from. And they also have stuff on like Yogs Clash. The Yogscast do stuff on there where they kind of take each other on in games. That's always fun. Hannah Hart, she's always been quite a popular YouTuber, and someone that, again, I got into in the very, very early days, when she kind of started up My Drunk Kitchen. It was something so different. I kind of get the quick jump cuts, that kind of editing skill from her videos. If you haven't seen My Drunk Kitchen, it's basically, as it suggests, she gets drunk whilst trying to cook various things. She's moved on a lot since then. She's kind of branched out and does a lot more different stuff, and good on her for doing that. But yeah, the original kind of drunk kitchen stuff, that's always made me laugh. And more recently, kind of more personal to me in helping me, with my guitar playing and everything, there's a guy called Marty's Songs. It's called Marty Schwartz, but he does a lot of tip videos on how to do certain songs and that on YouTube, so I've been going off a lot of things that he's done recently. So yeah, I'd say he's probably up there. I mean, there's tons that I kind of watch, but those are the main ones that I regularly watch on a daily basis. So yeah, those are mine, JK. Thank you very much for the question. If any of you guys out there want to share, your favourite YouTubers with me, then again, leave them in the comments below, or at my Twitter, Chris Jones LUFC. There's a lot of people out there. I'm not so keen on that Future Law guy though. He's always doing weird indie games, and yeah, I'm not too sure about that guy. Anyway, moving on to a question from Twitter. Tom Roach asked me, do you think Hunslet will ever make it to the Super League? Tom obviously talking about Hunslet Hawks there in Rugby League. To be quite honest with you, Tom, I really don't. I think the way that kind of Rugby League is structured and the way the Super League is worked, teams like Hunslet, Doncaster, Dewsbury, kind of teams like that, I can't ever see kind of making the step up to Super League. The way that the Super League works and everything, you really do need a team of full-time professionals. You need a hell of a lot of financial backing for it to work, and you kind of need at least a half decent stadium. Now, as great as Hunslet Hawks is as a club, it's fan owned. The team all work, all do part-time, playing for the club. They all have jobs outside of Rugby League. And like I say, it's fan ownership, so it's kind of back from that. It's very rare that they make a lot of money from people coming into the gate at games. Most of the money's made from outside resourcing, the merchandise, any nights that they put on there, the stuff from the bar, and obviously kind of living at the South Leeds Stadium, it's just one side of a ground. The rest of it is all open to the elements. It's got a running track around it. I mean, it does hold, I think it's about 1,800 it holds, maybe 2,000, but on a good day they'll maybe get about 900 to 1,000 fans in there, but on average it's about 600. So like I say, as great a club as it is, it's never, for me, I don't think it's going to be a viable option for a team like Hunslet to make it to the Super League. I mean, you look at the teams that do kind of aim to get there. Featherstone, they're pretty sound financially as far as I'm aware. They've made big improvements to their stadium. Again, as far as I'm aware, I think the majority of their players are probably full time now. Again, it's a kind of a biggish club is Featherstone. And then you got the likes of Halifax. Again, they've got a decent stadium behind them, all right financial backing, and again, a team of, I think, full timers. So it's basically the likes of Featherstone, Halifax that I can see ever getting into the Super League. I mean, you look at the teams that have come down in the past. Widnes, Castleford. They've always got themselves back up there again. And of course, we've seen Bradford come down this season. I can see them going straight back up again. Obviously they've had their financial troubles and it's cost them dearly. But I think they're a big enough club with a big enough fan base that will get them, back up into the Super League. So your smaller little kind of family type clubs like Hunslet. Really, the best we're ever going to hope for is kind of mid-table in the Championship. I mean, hopefully, you know, I am proved wrong and we can maybe strive to do slightly better than that, but actually getting to the Super League, I can't see it ever being a viable option, to be honest, Tom. But really interesting question there, really enjoyed that one. Thank you very much. And I hear you're a Wakefield fan, so good luck for the rest of the season, Tom. Third question, third week in a row from TR Gamer. Thank you very much once again. He has asked me, what's the first ever video I uploaded to YouTube? Well, the first ever one I did was just a kind of an intro video, because when I started up YouTube, I've been kind of teasing it on Twitter for a couple of weeks that I was going to do it. So I thought it was best for me to maybe just start off with an intro. If I've managed to actually find my first video, it might be up on screen right now. But yeah, looking back on it, the way I did it back then, I don't so much cringe, but I kind of look at where I am now and how I was then. You know, my style has completely changed. Obviously, the way in which I do it has completely changed. I literally just used a crappy little webcam that I placed on top of my laptop, and I was just sat on my bed doing it. So, yeah, it was just me looking down at the camera, and it wasn't the most ideal way of doing it. But at the end of the day, you kind of you use what you've got, and that's the only way that I did it. That's the only way I could do it. So, you know, a lot of YouTubers do this thing now where they look back at the first videos and they're going, oh my god, that's so cringy, that's awful, how could I ever do that? There's not really any videos that I look back at and think that was shite, that was really awful. You know, there's stuff that I look back at and think, oh, I could have done tons better with that. But I look at what I had in those days and what technology I had to hand, and, you know, I did what I could, and, you know, I don't regret any of the videos I put out. So the first ever video I put out was just an introduction video. The first vlog I put out was pretty much straight after that, and I think I was talking about oh god, what was it now? I think I was talking about inconsistent refereeing, because I think Man United had just played Chelsea, and the ref had given this awful decision against Chelsea. It was at a time where the refs were being particularly hounded for being inconsistent, and I think the name of the video was consistently inconsistent referees, something like that anyway. So it's basically just a big rant about referees. And I think the first gaming video I put out was probably the LA Noir video. I ended up doing about 20 LA Noir videos. I was trying to go through the whole game at the time. So yeah, the first one I put out was LA Noir, but again, the way that I did that, I used to record it through a DVD player, and I used to kind of hook it up to my PS3 and record it onto a DVD, which was really awkward in itself. But then afterwards I had to extract it from the DVD, which took ages, and then import it onto Windows Media Player and make it usable, and then edit it from there. So like each time I did one of those videos, it took absolutely fecking ages. So that's basically what ended me doing that playthrough of that game, which was disappointing because I absolutely love LA Noire and I'd love to have done a complete, you know, playthrough of it. But you never know, I might come back to it. There was something in the pipeline I was going to try and do with that at some point, and again I might come back to that. Now I've got the better technology for it. So yeah, we'll have to see with that. But yeah, my first gaming video was LA Noire. My first vlog was moaning about referees, and the first ever video was an introduction video. So yeah, thank you very much, TR Gamer, for that question. Moving on, once again we have a question from ED Gaming HD, or Ed Gaming HD. I don't really know how you want it pronouncing, Ed, to be honest, but yeah, thank you very much once again, pal. He asked me, what do you see happening at Leeds United in the coming months through to next season? I wish I had a crystal ball, Ed. I really do. It's just so impossible to second guess what is going to happen, because you just don't know what to expect from Cellino, really. I mean, in the 7 days since he's officially come back to the club, I think it's about a week that he's officially been back, apparently he hasn't even spoken to Neil Redfern, which I find astonishing, to be perfectly honest. I can't understand how he can, do that. I mean, it just sums up the way Cellino works, really, doesn't it? But I mean, the way I fully expect it to happen, unfortunately, I do expect Redfern to probably get the boot. I expect Cellino to bring in yet again another cheap option. I mean, he's been known to be at Morecambe Southend last game of the season, so whether he was looking at the likes of Phil Brown or the Morecambe manager, I don't know. Some say he was scouting the goalkeeper for Southend that day. But it wouldn't surprise me to get yet another maybe conference manager or lower league manager to take us on, or again, a foreign coach that no one's heard of. If that does happen, then obviously I expect the majority of the squad to disappear. The youngsters, the likes of Cook, Mowat, Byram, players like Murphy, and that, I expect them to probably move on, and who would blame them? And just expect the squad to kind of crumble pretty much. I mean, whether the Italians stay on, I really don't know. I mean, the way Bamba came out after the last game of the season, and he kind of openly said that the majority of the team and himself were absolutely gutted the way Steve Thompson went, and the way that the club was being run. But he specifically said that some of the team were happy that Thompson had gone. It doesn't take a genius to work out that it was clearly the injured six that were part of that squad. So ideally what I would want to happen is for obviously Redfern to stay, Cellino to sell up to a decent party to take over, someone that actually had Leeds United at the heart of their interest, someone who would back Redfern, would back the team, would back the squad, and obviously keeping hold of the youngsters would be good, and getting rid of the nuisance Italians and the players that are going to cause a real problem for us. That's what I want to happen, but I can just see the opposite happening. I'm not holding much hope out, Ed, to be honest. I think it's going to be a very long summer. I don't think it's going to be a great one, and put it this way, at the moment I'm not really regretting not renewing my season ticket. I think it's going to be a long, hard slog next season, and like I say, the summer months and pre-season, it's just going to be a big mess as far as I'm concerned. So I'm sorry for being so negative on that, but that's just the way I expect it to go. But thank you very much for your question there, Ed. And finally, we're going to finish on a question from Steve on Twitter, who asked me, what would be your idea of a perfect life? I think when a lot of people are asked this question, they straight away go for, I'd love to win the lottery, have millions upon millions of pounds, and live in the biggest mansion I could possibly afford, and have butlers and gardeners and everything working for me, and have all the best cars on the market. And I'm not going to say that. Basically, my idea of a perfect life would be to be comfortable, to be certain that I had enough money to make sure I was comfortable for the rest of my life. So I'm not talking multi-pound millionaire, just have enough money to make sure I'm comfortable, for the rest of my days. To live in a house that was, of decent size, not a massive mansion with 1,000 rooms that I'm never going to use, just a decent size house. Again, idea of a perfect life, I would like to be in a very happy, fun, loving relationship, someday, hopefully having kids, to live in this decent house. I would like to have a nice practical car, one that isn't over the top, and I would probably have to have an Aston Martin, just because it's always been my dream car. But that's all I'd want. I won't want a garage full of every single car going. And then away from that, I would love to have a studio where I could work from, and also Bartak Gaming could work from, so I have a bit of a HQ area, actually have a set office with various studios and places to work in. Having that would be amazing. But first and foremost, and the most important thing, I would love to be able to make sure the rest of my family and my friends could live comfortably. Make sure that my parents were happy and living in a nice house, again for the rest of their lives, and the rest of my family as well. I have an auntie who has never had a lot of money, and it's kind of struggled really, and she's always had this dream of wanting to live in a cottage, It's one that she's always picked out near to where she lives, and she just wants to have this lovely little cottage, and that would make her happy. A big enough garden to have some animals in the back as well. If I could make that happen for her, that I would die happy. I wouldn't even have to have the perfect life and everything. If I could do that for my auntie, then I would be so happy. I know that makes me sound like one of these charitable, knobheads constantly bragging about making stuff better for everyone else, but honestly, to be quite honest, that would make me so much happy. So much happy. Yes, that would make me so much happy. That's my idea of a perfect life. Not having so much money that I wouldn't know what to do with it, just having a decent amount, so myself, my family, my close friends were happy. I could work full time on YouTube, working from a studio along with Lee and Charlie, a Bartat HQ kind of thing. Just living a happy family life in a decent sized home, and that would be perfect for me. Absolute perfection. So brilliant question that, Steve. I love those kind of questions. They're really great. And that brings us to the end of week 7 of Jonesy's Question Time. Another great one there, guys. Thank you very much for everyone who sent your questions in. Again, like I say, keep it varied, guys. That was a perfect variation there. That's exactly what I want week in, week out. That was absolutely top notch. I'd love to see lots of other people getting involved in this. I'm seeing a lot of the same people asking the questions, and I'm by no means asking them to stop sending them in. Send them in, guys, as you do. But I'd like to see some new faces, some new names that I can read out. Some different questions and everything. That'd be superb. So, like I say, if you can leave them in any of the Question Time videos or at my Twitter at ChrisJonesLUFC, that would be very much appreciated. So, thank you very much, guys. If this is your first time visiting, then please give me a like and a subscribe. That'd be very much appreciated. And to everyone else, thank you for watching, and until next time, guys, I'll see you very soon.